Pull those belts tight, put on your helmet, and grab a gear. It's time for another high-speed episode of Race Chaser Media's Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. Let's throw the green and send it to the hosts in the studio.
That's us. And
Hi.
Hola.
well, he's the only one that got the joke right, because usually the joke's on me for Spanglish, as Casey LaJoy says at Millbridge.
Spanglish?
Spanglish.
Yes, Spanglish.
Is my voice or is my mic close enough?
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
good.
you're good.
You're
You're
good.
good right there, Tyler.
We promise.
Perfect.
So, yeah, speaking of him, if you don't know who he is, he kind of sort of won a truck race recently. So
He did.
Tyler Ankrum earned a spot to be back on this show. His
Yes, he
name's
did.
over on that wall. We need to get him to add Truck Series winner to it before
Yes.
he leaves
Yep,
later.
Before
Yes.
we leave. It's going to happen.
And because you're now a Truck Series winner, you get a shot to race for a Truck Series
Yep.
championship,
Yep.
which we don't have confetti poppers here.
No.
But that
No, I don't think the folks that we rent from would be happy about confetti all over the place, but we can pretend.
we can pretend.
Yeah.
It's a party here. We all know that. But congratulations,
Thank
first
you.
off. I think we would be remiss if we didn't just start out with that. And we're going to have a lot to talk about with Tyler Ankrum in regards to his recent Truck Series win at Kentucky. We have a lot to talk about in general.
Yes, we
on
do.
this show. My goodness, it's been a interesting week in a lot of different facets here.
We get to talk to Tyler about his Kentucky win. We got Ryan Vargas coming up later. Talk to him about his big announcement,
Yes,
making
he's going
his Xfinity debut next
Xfinity
weekend.
Series racing.
Yep.
So
And lots of other happenings, past and present.
yes, including NASCAR deciding that Stuart Friesen doesn't warrant a penalty, which I'm still scratching my head at over
Yeah.
that one, kind of,
What-
sort of.
I think they call that a nothing burger now, don't they?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There was that. We're going to Loudon this weekend, and we don't have lobster here,
No,
but
definitely not.
seafood would be nice.
Yeah, I
Right.
did eat some fish last week, so
Oh, well.
and I was up in New York, so we're
There you
good.
go. That's a start. You were in New York, and that probably, I'm sure, slots in somewhere along here.
Sure, why
because
not?
why not? And good grief, there's 18,000 other things that we can get to, too. There's IndyCar conversation and Formula One conversation and all sorts of fun things that
Yes.
we have time for. But first, because it's madness, we're going to do completely the opposite of what we said we're going to do and take a break. And when we come back, we've got more of the show. Stick with us.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more, but the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Louis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
This is Anthony Alfredo, and you're listening to the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
That's not bad. We got.
Teammate right there.
I was going to say we got. he said he was going to turn you up.
Yeah, he did.
So.
He turned me up pretty big. Pretty big right there.
Anyway,
Turned us all up.
yeah, where we were going with that was Tyler Ankrum's teammate bringing us back from break, where we have Tyler Ankrum on Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Tyler Ankrum, Chris Murdoch will talk eventually somewhere along the way. He's back there punching buttons right now, and. Before we get into the aftermath of the win for people who might have been living under a rock since last Thursday night, I want you to take us back and actually recount a little bit of what's going through your head in the final couple of laps there. You're trying to run Brett down, trying to run him down, and then all of a sudden, boom, he's out of fuel, and you're where I think a lot of us felt you should have been all along before their strategy play.
Yeah.
Just kind of that whole range of emotions, it seemed like.
Honestly, to be honest, right before he ran out of fuel, I honestly wasn't thinking about a whole lot. It was just laser focus. I think like 10 laps before I asked him where he was at, and then it was about 5 laps later. I mean, we're catching him like a second a lap. It was crazy how fast we were catching him. And then I could finally see him entering 1. I was getting to the wall off of 4, and then I finally saw him then. We're still catching him about a second a lap. There was like 2 or 3 to go, and as I was entering 1, I saw him exit low off of 2. It was just kind of like one of those moments where it was like, yes, yes. And I passed him going down, or I passed him to 3 going down the back, and went down this front stretch, and I took the white, and nothing really went through my mind but a smile on my face. So it was a pretty awesome experience because we've been working so hard. DGR, my guys, I mean, they work harder than me. All I really do is go to the gym and I race. But they've been bringing me such awesome race trucks these past few weeks, and we had such a great truck at Chicagoland, Texas. Then I set those 2 theoretically I did set those 2 races out, but we've just been bringing the heat lately.
So we'll get to the plan in a minute, but you made a good point actually that I want to touch on. This really goes all the way back to Texas, I feel like, because that was the race that I feel like not only did your guys' intermediate program start to stand out, but that was the race where I felt like you kind of woke everybody up that didn't think you were here for real and went, hey, hello, I'm here. Because you were 4 laps down at one point in that race and came back to 3rd, and it's like
and led like 15 laps.
And led. And you led the most laps in Kentucky, too.
Yeah. We've, I think in a sense you're right. We I won't say what we started doing, but we started doing things a little bit differently, especially when it came to my truck, since it's really the only full-time driving truck.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and that's really the truck that gets the most amount of attention at DGR, to be completely honest. And so we started doing things a little bit differently. Started catching on what the competition is doing. Actually, started catching on what the competition was doing, and actually started going in opposite directions, trying to find the speed in other places. And it's definitely showed these past 3 races. Chicagoland, I was running third or fourth, and was probably going to end up 2nd or 3rd before I ended up getting caught speeding on pit road by 0.3 of a mile an hour. And and honestly, they talked about it quite a bit on the broadcast, how gun shy I was coming to pit road, and I was pretty freaking gun shy running second. I'm like, I'll take second over freaking getting a speeding penalty. So we ended up taking 2 cans. Well, it was 1.5. But it was like only about 3 seconds extra on pit road, but 3 seconds extra on pit road.
I was going to say it was more than enough.
Yeah, it was more than enough, and it shows you how much 3 seconds is on the racetrack.
Well, that's true. And I have to be honest. When you get out of the truck, there was that moment at the finish line there. You just kind of put your head down, and it was almost like you could actually see all of the stress and all of the just sort of like pour off of you. And calm down, but you just seemed totally at a loss for words. I can only imagine what you were actually feeling in those moments with the interviews, the first couple that you did there for NBC, just trying to process the fact that, did I just really do this?
Yeah, it was when I first, well, I didn't really even have a plan. Usually everyone has a plan what they're going to do for their burnout or something, like Ross Chastain has the watermelon, or Quickie had the Polish victory lap. But like, I'm just like, I don't know what to do here. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to try and do burnout. And I actually messed up. I tried flipping it around, and I went too far. And I ended up going in the grass. I tried flipping it around as best I could with the short turning radius that these trucks have. And but I ended up doing a pretty nice burnout and
at least you didn't fall off the door of the truck like Custer did.
No, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it was an awesome experience for sure. And honestly, there was so much going through my brain, but honestly, that's probably the biggest thing was I was just so relieved that because, I mean, financially, I've been telling myself you have to win ever since Texas, after Texas we announced that we weren't going to have the sponsorship. We don't know. I mean, Railblaze and Academy really stepped up a lot. There's a lot less races than they originally were. We weren't going to race, but I mean, Railblaze was responsible for me being at Kentucky in the first place, and they're actually responsible for me going to be at the next 4 races.
That's awesome.
And we're actually, only 4 races short on the regular and basically the 4 races in the playoffs, and they've been so awesome. They're such great guys to work with. But we were honestly after, or I guess it would have been after Gateway, Chicago. Me, my family, my manager Martin, we're all just like kind of having a realistic conversation. And it's like, well, I guess at this point we can start focusing on 2020. And we're all like, okay, yeah, we tried, because it wasn't something like at the beginning of the year, it wasn't something that we didn't know wouldn't happen. Or there's a possibility there was a possibility it might happen. And so it wasn't, for us it wasn't a huge surprise, bigger surprise to others because they just didn't see what was going on behind the curtain. But, for it to happen, I kind of wanted to take back what we said, but I think what we said had such an impact that it just helped us. So
and I sort of want to go back to the beginning of the season too, because we had you on, and this was a big step for you, and we're talking about now you're a Truck Series winner. So I mean, in hindsight, what you said then in the sponsorship stuff has got to sting just a little bit. But have you really? I mean, you've come a long way. Did you really expect, to be that competitive, to be where you're at now? I mean,
no.
It's got to be super surreal to be here.
I didn't, honestly, I probably repeated this too much this week, but I said a few times that it was all a dream for me. That's all it was a dream. I never in my mind did ever think it was become a reality. And the fact that it did just means that much more to me.
So we don't have the time to dig really into this the way I want to until the next segment, but I do want to get to the plan, as Matt Weaver and a few others called it on social media after the win Thursday night. But I do want to...
There's no plan.
Well...
Swinging for the fences.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you real quick in the last minute or so before we have to take this break. Obviously, your phone, I'm sure, was blowing up for 2 or 3 days afterwards. Who, out of everybody that reached out to you, what was the coolest or who was the most surprising person that reached out to you over the course of the post-win celebration?
Martin Truex, he congratulated me. He was a huge surprise. mainly because I don't really see him a whole lot around the office at Martin Truex Management. Don't see him a whole lot, so when I do see him, it's usually just kind of, like hi and bye because he's got to go somewhere. He's in a meeting. So, and I don't really talk to him that much, but, ever since that win, he congratulated me. Mark Martin congratulated me. That was even cooler for me.
Yeah, really?
It was,
that's awesome.
It was, I'm just looking at my phone. I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, cool. Don't know what to say. Thank you, maybe.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
When one of your heroes reaches
exactly,
out to you,
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. It's just kind of like, am I that cool? Maybe, I don't know.
Well, we've
You
always
are
known.
maybe he's just that. He's just that cool.
Yeah.
He's
We've
just-
known it since you were 14, but
Exactly. We're going to take a break. We'll have even more with Truck Series winner Tyler Ankrum right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Do you love the sound of high revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Valero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
What an awesome game. What's up with your car? I don't know. It won't start. How are we getting home? Chill. My parents signed me up for the roadside assistance from Lewis Meineke. It was free with my oil change. They'd come and get the car started or get us home and tow the car to the shop.
Good to know. With my driving, my parents never know what to expect.
When you join the Meineke Car Care Club with a $35 preferred service, you get 4 free months of roadside assistance, including tire change, battery jump, lockout service, towing, and more. Contact Lewis Meineke, located on Route 1, or call 827-2054.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Hi, I'm Noah Gregson, and you're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Well, welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu, training for a better life. We'll tell you more about them a little bit later, and Tom can do that since he missed last week, and I had to be rebooted 2 or 3 different times, and I would like to not be rebooted tonight.
Yeah, you almost were in the opening seconds of the show.
Yeah,
but,
we survived.
You survived.
Jacob Seelman, who's okay, I promise. Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch, who's got this weird grin on his face. I don't know what that was.
He was just waiting for you to reboot.
No, I'm good.
You know.
Tyler Ankrum, most recent Truck Series winner.
Tyler's not okay.
Never.
Tyler's better than okay.
Yes, he's
Tyler's
better than
fantastic right now.
I'm always good.
So I chuckle. Before the last break, I mentioned the plan, and I know I've said that a few times since we started this show, and we'll now explain what the plan was. And you just said we were swinging for the fences, but I guess that's kind of, in essence, what this was, because when you had your sponsorship woes that was going to force you to sit out at DGR Crosley, and I want you to actually tell the story of how this all started to come together, because Joe Nemechek stepped up and gave you an opportunity to at least start. You didn't get to run the whole race, but at least start those 2 races that you otherwise would have missed to even make having a playoff berth possible right now, because if not for being able to start those 2 races, you wouldn't have been eligible after your win at Kentucky.
Yeah, so it all kind of started like the day I posted that Instagram Twitter video where I was just like, hey, fans, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, but I'm no longer full-time because of this and X and Y and Z. And it wasn't but the next day, Railblazer came on board. Academy, we were talking with Academy. It was just like all of a sudden, poof, like what the heck just happened? Like, how come this couldn't happen with us not announcing that we're like the world's coming to an end, right? But when that started, I think that's just when the wheels started turning. I think that's when everyone realized that I'm just not another kid here to race. That we were actually fully invested in it, and it was like, but 2 days later, I got a call. Well, my father got a call from Joe Nemechek, and he so gracefully let us start and park. Well,
graciously, you were right the first time, by the way.
Oh, I was graciously.
Yeah, graciously.
What did I say? Gracefully? Graciously?
Yeah,
I don't know.
gracefully is dancing.
Sorry, I don't know.
You're combining them. Just
yeah,
so
yeah, graciously. Yeah,
we get the point.
No, but so he so let my desperate self go race Iowa and Gateway, and then we had that run we had at Chicagoland. And then it was kind of like our engines are starting to fire up here, and then Kentucky we just put on the afterburner, and we were fast in practice. We had an awesome truck in practice, and I thought we really had a legitimate shot, and then we're 4th in both stages, and then we're leading at the end and led 40 laps, and it was just honestly the night couldn't have gone any better, because other than my terrible restarts, which I'm still trying to figure out. Other than my terrible restarts, everything was perfect. The pit road guys were good. The truck was on point.
No speeding penalty.
No speeding penalties. No, pit road penalty in any form or way. No uncontrolled tires, thank Lord. And then it just kind of, in a way, I want to say it fell in our lap, but at the same time it didn't, because we raced up front all night. It wasn't like I did what I usually do and make everything harder on myself, and I was out there racing in the back with the squirrels and racing my way through. Like, we were consistently running up front, and we got an unbelievable amount of television time.
You did.
I couldn't believe
it.
So it was huge for our sponsors.
If more or less you took that race and took your destiny into your own hands, I'd say, as opposed to it falling in your lap.
Yeah. And I'm honestly most happy for our partners, Railblazer. They're new to the sport. And they're new to motorsport in general. And even after Texas, they were so happy. They're so excited. Like, after the whole Texas spin and all that, me finishing 3rd, it crashed their servers.
Awesome.
They had so many people go to their website, the Railblazer website. It literally crashed their server. Like, the website shut down.
That's one of those.
There's so much internet
traffic.
Oh,
my God, our server's down. Wow, that's amazing. Our server's down.
Yeah.
It's
and they couldn't believe it. And it's awesome for me to see partners like that come on board, and it's the reason why I wish we wouldn't have these issues we are having right now in NASCAR with it's really hard to find sponsorship, because the Railblazer guys and the Yak Gear guys came to Texas and had an absolute blast. They were hooked on it. They absolutely loved it. Then they came to Chicagoland, and they were like rabid raccoons. Like, they were so excited, and they were so all over the place. They couldn't believe what was happening, and they were having so much fun. And then they were at ICAST 2019 down in Orlando, Florida, and they had plans that night. They canceled everything to watch the race.
Wow.
They
That's
canceled
cool.
everything they had on their schedule to watch the race.
At Kentucky, you mean?
At Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
To watch the race down in Orlando.
That was a good
And
decision.
Yeah, yeah. And then we end up winning. And so going forward, I just think I hope this opens a lot more doors, and I just hope that it shows everyone how serious we are.
Well, I want to go back for a second because you mentioned that it kind of all started after the video that you put out. My take on this is that I believe that the way that you handled that video, the way that you talked about your situation, I think sometimes, we have to go through a storm before the sun comes out, right? And I think you said you were talking to one or two of those guys, and then the next day there they were. Well, sometimes they see a side of you. It's how do you handle adversity? That video, I felt like you handled that like a champ. And, I think that's really a big deal. And I know Chris wants to jump in here, but, I feel like the way that you portrayed yourself in that video, I'm sure made a lot of people who were on the fence kind of take another look and go, this is somebody that we want to be partners with and someone we want to support.
Well, thank you.
So,
and I think what's interesting to me, because I think out of all of the drivers I follow on like Instagram or Twitter or something, every time I look at you, you're doing something interesting. And what you did after the race was the ultimate like sponsorship plug you could do, because you go straight like 5 minutes down the road to Academy and pick up a grill.
Yeah.
So you put
it's actually awesome.
Have you put the thing to use?
Oh yeah, we've been cooking on it like every single night. It's pretty awesome. It's one of those hibachi grills, so you don't have to spend $400 to go to Kobe anymore. You just come to my house.
Nice.
I've been practicing with all the knives, and I could even do the thing where I like throw the egg up and catch it in my hat. I can do all that. So
Is that
it's a new hobby. It's a new hobby on top of archery, shooting, boating, fishing,
tending to cows.
Cows, yeah. I don't know if that's a hobby. That's more like a responsibility.
Yeah.
My mom would have my hide. And
Jack
then,
of all trades,
yeah,
master
right.
of none.
Call me a Renaissance man.
So can we take that as an invite to come have some food sometime?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It needs to get
what
put
we need to do is we need to do a show from.
Yeah.
And, have the food and
I like that
look
idea.
at the cows and,
Yeah.
So to circle back to the Nemco situation and what Joe did for you, and I know he was one of the first people, aside from your team and David, to get to victory lane to congratulate you. He saw, I feel like, that you were capable of something like this, but, up until Kentucky, I mean, Be honest. Was there a true belief that this scenario was anywhere close to being a reality?
No. At that point in time before Kentucky, it was kind of like we're gonna fold our cards here. We're gonna, wait for next year and then see what kind of aces we can pull up our sleeves, and then that happened. The even cooler part was Jeff Bedian was in victory lane. Actually had him in my hauler for about 2 hours. He had this tank he was giving away to charity, and he was having all of his drivers sign. And Jeff's really close friends with all the Crosley guys over there. And
sure is. All the Mastis. Yep.
And he was in my hauler for I don't know, maybe 2 hours. And basically time in between practice and qualifying. And he told some awesome stories, some really really cool stories, and ones I appreciate because I'm an old soul myself. And then he was he was standing in the crowd. I was like, Jeff, get in here, blah, 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 blah. And he was such an awesome, cool guy.
He is. Yep. He was my hero of the modifieds growing up.
Yeah. His story's pretty crazy, too, all the stuff he brought to NASCAR, all the stuff he outlawed.
Yeah.
It got outlawed in NASCAR, so.
Well, not all of it did. Power steering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All the stuff that made the race cars better
was
gone.
Right. Yeah.
All the stuff that actually made sense.
Outside of going to Academy and picking up a grill, I mean, how or what did you let yourself do in celebration the last couple of days?
Well, I had a lot of Arnold Palmer. No way, shape, or form did I have any alcohol. I was not allowed to do that. Thankfully to my mother. She's still my guardian angel.
Good.
But I did get a sunburn.
It should be.
I did get a sunburn on the lake. Fell out of a tree playing manhunt.
Wait, hold on, time out. And we haven't got enough time probably for this story, but just mark that, Jacob,
Mark
the
that
next
story.
segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
All I can say is all of us 18, 19-year-olds are running around my yard like 12-year-olds. That's all I got to put.
So I give you credit for not falling off the door of the truck, but
Yeah.
you didn't admit you fell out of a tree.
Yeah.
I'm sure I can guess 4 or 5 that were probably involved in this.
Yeah. Yep. There were.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tyler, you just won in Kentucky. What are you going to do now?
I don't know.
I'm going to fall out of a tree.
Oh, goodness.
On that note.
Yeah. On that note, we're not going to
break.
dig into any more stories because if we do, we'll be 3 more minutes and Chris will kill me because we have to take a break. But when we return, we will continue rehashing with Tyler Ankrum. And we'll actually maybe look ahead a little bit because, as we talked about right off the top, you've got a shot at a championship now, or at least at a playoff run, which is something that I don't think anyone would have expected. So we'll take this break and be back in a minute.
Everywhere you go, you hear it, and you see it. It's coming at you through your phone, your tablet, and your computer. It's broadcast from your favorite radio station, TV networks, and cable companies. It's in the stadiums, the arenas, the ballparks. It screams for your attention at the mall. It's interactive on Main Street. It's even coming at you from the gas pump at the nearby convenience store. What is it? It's digital content. It's digital content. It's digital content. Somebody has to create it. Somebody has to manage it. So whether your dream is to write it, design it, create it, call it, produce it, voice it, host it, light it, shoot it, switch it, record it, color correct it, edit it, code it, repurpose it, tweet it, blog it, post it, compress it, upload it, replay it, or make sure it gets to where it's got to go when it's got to get there in the format it's got to be in, you need to attend
Carolina School of Broadcasting.
The skills you will learn, the experience you will get, and the connections you will make at Carolina School of Broadcasting will open the doors to the career you want in digital content creation and digital content management. Call or come by today. Click csbradiotv.edu.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider Air Shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speeds, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Jesse Love, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Oh, I had a plan for this segment, and Tyler Ankrum just totally blew that out of the water with
happens.
There are some stories that you just can't share on the air.
Well, I'm sorry, but we can because Fox had the camera on it.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's true.
This is not our fault anymore.
And by the way,
and it made NASCAR race up too.
My apologies to everyone at Fox. I said NBC earlier. It's Fox. Whatever.
Yeah, so
I'm old, I get confused.
So we can share this because there's video proof of it.
Yep.
Your father at the end of that race, you took the checkered flag and he pulled a big Bill Venturini on top of the pit box.
Yeah, just put a big old kiss on the side of Bono's face. It was honestly, I think that video got a lot more recognition than my win did. Honestly. It's my dad. Just my honestly. So we go places, and my dad likes to make jokes when I'm around because I'm the race car driver and he's just the dad. So we'll be like, hey, do we want to go here? He's like, no, I can't go there. It's like, why not? It's like, too many people be asking for autographs and whatnot. So he still acts like the young buck that he's been bucked off his horse a few times. He's feeling a little bit older than he used to, but he likes to joke around a lot.
He just had,
Yeah.
And your mom, too. She just had to be, because they've sacrificed a lot for you to be able to do this.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have.
and
But
they're
I
great
think you can kind of show your appreciation in other ways.
Well, if he could go back.
No.
But it's
No,
just,
he doesn't care. He's just a guy like that.
I wonder if Bono cares.
His wife probably cares. It just doesn't bother, things like that doesn't bother my dad. And I don't know why, because I'm not like that.
He's probably like, geez, that hasn't happened any of the other times I've led drivers to wins.
Mm-mm.
Ryan Newman hasn't, his dad hasn't, or whatever,
I just think it's better that it was caught on camera.
Yeah, right?
You can't really get out of it. You
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
deny it.
Exactly. Honestly, it made NASCAR race up. They
That's
talk
awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, everyone's like, who's that? It's like, it's my dad. Sorry. So now whenever I go to the Christmas reunion, it's like, who are you? It's like, oh, I'm like the second cousin of Aunt Cher. Wasn't your dad on television? Yeah, that was my dad making out with
No, that was not my dad.
That's no. No. I'm actually the fourth cousin removed from.
Yeah.
That's the man formerly known as my dad.
Yep. I was adopted.
Yeah.
By Rocky.
So aside from the media attention, and we're used to this, kind of low key, you just doing what you do, but that seems to be the whole week. You came back to the ranch, and it's just kind of been simple.
Yeah, it's been pretty normal actually. It's nice having that race on Thursday because pretty much had all weekend just to relax and.
For sure.
Actually, I was still on a weed whacker. We came home Thursday night. My dad's sitting across the table. He goes, you might be a winner tonight, but tomorrow morning, your ass is going to be on a weed whacker. And I was like, yay. I was like, how drunk is he? What time is it? Okay. I'll give myself to 8 o'clock. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going to bed now. So, it was pretty much as business as usual. A lot of time on the lake, a lot of time with friends and family. And it was an awesome weekend. But as Monday happened, it was just back to business as usual. So,
what was the emotion around the shop? After a moment like that. I'm sure David is sitting there afterwards going, "Shoot, are we about to make magic happen again?" Because there are so many parallels from how you strung together a championship run last year to the magic that you're putting together again.
Yeah, it's been huge. And honestly, as an organization, DGR I think really needed that win. We've the beginning of the summer months were hard on all of us. We weren't really having the runs. Even I wasn't really putting together the runs. Didn't put together the run at Charlotte. Then we had, Texas was awesome. Then I failed at Chicagoland, and it was kind of like, I don't want to say, we felt like we were failing, but we knew we had the speed, but it was just like, gosh darn, it's like hit or miss.
Yeah.
And then for us to have the win at Kentucky, it's just like, holy crap, we can actually do this.
Mm-hmm.
We can run up front, we can contend. And that was Kentucky was just an accumulation of what we've been working on all year, setups and packages wise. And we were super excited heading into it. We're over there on the setup plate Wednesday afternoon before we're loading up, and we're just we're drooling over this race truck because we knew how good it was going to be. So, I don't want to say we knew how good it was. We knew
felt like it was going to be really good.
Exactly. We felt like it was going to be really good, and we knew the potential.
Faith is such a critical force, too.
Yeah.
If you go in feeling like this truck has a chance to win, it just changes the way everybody goes about their business.
Yeah. And that was the biggest thing, too, at Kentucky. We had spent so much time preparing that, it took me 2 laps to figure the track out. And, honestly, Kentucky is just like Texas is just flip-flopped, so it wasn't really that hard to adapt to it, unlike Pocono was probably going to be, but it wasn't that hard to adapt to it. So we spent a lot of time. It was almost as soon as we rolled off the truck, we were fast, and it was and I felt comfortable enough telling them what I felt with the racetrack, what I felt
Right.
could have been better. And that's really ultimately the hardest thing for us rookies is getting to the racetrack and spending as small amount of time as possible on us and start focusing on the truck. And that's one of the reasons why I thought we were so well at Kentucky's. We spent less than 2 laps working on me, and we spent most of the time working on the truck and working together.
Do you feel a sense of validation in a way with this win? Do you feel like it's kind of, proving that you have a place here?
Yes,
At this level?
very, very much so. The win for me, more than anything else, really, just in a way, I proved to myself, because that's probably been my biggest crutch. And if there's any drivers listening, that's what probably my biggest piece of advice is don't be too critical on yourself, because like growing up racing late models and super late models, I used to think, okay, why are we a tenth and a half off? What am I doing wrong? What I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do that. Blah 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 blah. I got so much going on in my brain, and it took me for me to learn in the K&N car to gain my confidence in that K&N car, for me to just think, okay, slow down, you'll be fine. Just work with everyone around you. There's a reason why they're there. They're going to help you. They're going to help you get through this. They're going to do their best ability as you do yours. If you prove to them that you're invested, because that's probably the biggest thing with these race teams is if they don't think you're invested, they're not going to work half as hard as if you are invested. So it's really the people who, helped me get here, past and present, and it proved to myself that not only can I do it, but I can do it with the people I'm with. And, I believed in them since day one, because I have such a veteran crew around me. For me, it was my own self-doubt. It was like, okay, am I good enough for them? And Kentucky just kind of melded everything together.
That's what I was saying earlier. Yep.
And I think it's interesting to me because most people may not realize this, but you've been a huge part in the growth of DGR, from where you came from K&N to now. And I think it's interesting to see that everything is finally starting to click, not for just you, but the team as a whole, because, when Anthony gets in the truck, he's knocking off top 10s. When Dylan gets in the truck, he's, top 5 to top 10. Natalie's starting to make her way up into the top 15. It's got to feel good to see everybody starting to click and the whole team starting to run well as a whole.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, there's strength in numbers, right? So the more amount of people you have working with you, the larger the notebook you have. And that's really what DGR lacked before. David did really, really good when he got in the trucks last year. Finished third at Iowa, was running second at Texas when he blew right front. Dover finished fourth. You can probably get a few better numbers than that right there, but those are just a few really good examples of how fast the trucks even were last year. But they didn't have one single full-time guy other than me and Dipple in the K&N car. And Dipple didn't even come on till Langley. Yeah, it was Langley. It was like 3 races into the season when he came on. And that's just that notebook, that knowledge. If you have a knowledge, that's this thick instead of this thick, really, it's going to help.
Sure.
So for me, what I think's benefited us the most this year, well, benefited the most up until Gateway in Iowa, what benefited the most is week in, week out, it was the same driver, same crew chief, same truck, and we continually worked on the same packages. Like honestly, now we go to the racetrack and we have 1 or 2 packages. We have shocks and springs wise that we run, and then we just kind of tweak from there. That's how you find your speed.
2-part question here. First, are you feeling any sense of deja vu from last year to this year with kind of the things happening in the perfect way to make a title run possible?
Yeah, well, last year I won at South Boston, and I had the points lead by only 1 or 2 points. And then we went Memphis, we went racing, and then it was a handful of points. And then we went to the road course, and it was still only 11-point lead. And it was okay, 11 points you can lose in a race. You can lose the point lead. Oh, hey, buddy. What's up?
Ryan Vargas just
walked
into the
door.
studio.
Yeah.
And
we'll get to him in just a little bit.
Ryan will be coming on shortly.
Yeah. But anyways, so it was at the K&N, it was just kind of we still only have about 11-point lead, and you can lose that in a single race. So then we hit Thompson, Iowa, and then New Hampshire, or whatever order it was, and boom, 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 we win those 3 in the summer months. and then kind of went downhill from there. But we don't want to talk about that. But
it was enough to win a championship.
It was enough to win the championship at New Hampshire. Actually, race before the season was over, and then I feel like in a sense it's kind of happening in the same way, except for we're just now getting our first win. I think that I've always believed that other than winning, the most important thing is remaining consistent and having the same intensity week in, week out. Like, I can't imagine the amount of wrinkles Kyle Busch is going to have when he's older. Because the dude has over 200 wins across all 3 series. Like, do you know how intense he got to be to do that? Maintain that drive for, I mean, he's not very old, but he's like, what, 35, 36?
35, yeah.
Yeah, he's 35 years old. I mean, he's still a young guy, but, I mean, I'm only a kid. But you got to be intense, like, week in, week out. Either you got to be very, very angry or you got to be very passionate about what you do. And in order for you to do that, you have in order to participate in these championships, that's what you have to do. Look at Grant Nimfinger. Dude is going to win the regular season championship, and he hasn't won a race. And Chastain's won 2, Moffitt's won 2, and then Sauter's won 1. Even still, like, he's gone without a win this whole season, but because he wins minus the past 2 weeks, he's wrecked himself out. He's finished up front, runs inside the top 5 in almost every single stage, inside the top 5 in almost every single race. It's just the consistency they've had and the runs they've put together is, in my mind, still unsurmountable from what I've done.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, real quick, you got about a minute, but going forward, looking ahead, you've got the win. Looking into the playoffs, you said intensity is the key word here, but what's going through your mind getting ready for a playoff run?
Win. That's all you got to do. We got to win again, and we got to just go out there guns blazing.
You're excited, though. I can tell.
I'm super excited. Yeah.
I mean, keep in mind, this is what you're seeing here is what you get with Tyler Ankrum all the time. I mean,
well, and I want to know what you thought of the whole. You win the race, and then Fox puts up this big thing.
Yeah.
And it's Tyler Dipple and says Tyler Ankrum.
Yeah. Oh, I knew you were going to ask this question. It's actually the first time somebody's asked me this question. None of the
we like first.
Yeah, MRN didn't even ask me this question. Actually, I expected them to ask me it too.
We're better than they are.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. Exactly. But
we've just known you.
I don't want to trash talk Fox, but that was bad. I'm gonna admit. I mean, we don't even look alike. The only thing that me and Dipple have is the first name. Yeah.
Well, and the fact you were teammates last year kind of made that even funnier.
That is true. I still get mistaken for him.
Really?
Do. Oh, even by the fans.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Nuts.
On that note, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will finish up, get Tyler to add his new title to our wall. More Motorsports Madness in a minute.
When do you think of a plumber? Like most people, even if it's an emergency, you can be confident about who will arrive to help you. For quality and reliability, count on someone you can trust. Call on the plumbing services of Hague Quality Water of Maryland. Plumbing doesn't have to be an emergency. We handle all kinds of preventative maintenance too. Hague Quality Water of Maryland is family owned here in Annapolis since 1993. For a refreshing choice, call us at 888-84-WATER or visit us online.
Here at Lewis Meineke, we're more than just your average car care center. Hey, it's Dave, your neighbor from Lewis Meineke. Whether you need an oil change, brakes, tires, or anything under the hood, we've got you covered. Take advantage of our free check engine light service as well. Yes, free. And don't forget about our free shuttle service. Never stress, we'll take care of the rest. On with life. Give us a call at Lewis Meineke, 302-827-2054.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up! You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses, because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
Do you love the sound of high-revving motors and the smell of burning rubber? Do you want to get your car sideways right at the ragged edge of control? If you've always wanted to try drifting or learn to improve your drifting skills, Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier motorsports facility, has the expert instructors and the specialized track to teach you how to drift. and the skills necessary to drift competitively. From skid pad to open sessions, Summit Point Motorsports Park has the safe and open environment that allows drifters of all skill levels, new to intermediate, to get sideways and smoking. With a focus on safety and the skill set necessary to drift competitively, Summit Point Motorsports Park's Drift Nirvana is just the thing for you. Call for your reservation today, 304-725-8444. Or for more information, go online, summitpoint-raceway.com, or you can email them at office@bsrinc.com. Drift Nirvana, getting you sideways the right way.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Riley Herbst, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Well, welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker.
I wish I would have had the camera on so I could have watched Tyler fumble the headset trying to put it back on.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I just hear coming back. I'm like, what? Oh, we're sorry.
It's okay. Well, maybe a couple more times on here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out
We'll get
soon.
you trained eventually.
We'll figure it out.
So we have a Sharpie that Chris managed to
sweet.
unsteal. We're going to let Tyler gently take
Gently.
his headset off so he doesn't blow our ears out. And over there underneath his name, it says 2018 K&N Champ. We're going to add 2019 Kentucky winner. Or
something.
Something along those lines.
I don't know if that'll fit.
I don't know. We'll let Tyler figure out what.
There you go,
We'll
bud.
make something fit.
We'll see how neat he can write this now. Of course, he's a lefty, and he actually has nice handwriting for somebody his age, because you know how it is now. They don't teach cursive anymore and really don't even make you print well in school. But there we go. Truck winner. He got
Love it. He did
got
good.
it. Nice job, Tyler. And he'll make his way back to his seat, and we'll...
In just enough time to give a quick thank you to the people that make it possible,
that's
because
what
we
we
know
need
how
for him to
important
do.
that is.
I'm back.
Yes.
He's back.
Yep. Well, got to thank Railblazer, Academy, DJR Crosley, Toyota. Obviously, they all, as a whole, did everything to get me to the racetrack. My family, friends. It's actually something I didn't mention, but when I announced that I was no longer had the sponsorship, I had family I hadn't talked to maybe 2 or 3 years helping me find sponsorship when they found out.
That's
so
awesome.
I had friends, disconnected friends I hadn't talked to in months, helping me out. So to all the friends and family, sponsors that helped me get there to the win. Yeah, finally.
To the
Hurrah.
win.
To hurrah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know, yes, you're celebrating now. You get a week off to celebrate, but it's going to be one that'll stick with you a long time. And
Absolutely.
We're glad you came in and hung out with us for a while again tonight.
I hope we can get you to do it more.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Always love coming on.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to draw a close to the first half of our show. And as he referenced a minute ago, Ryan Vargas is in the house, and he'll join us in the second half coming up right after this.
We're growing like crazy and need account reps who know their way around agencies, the internet, and social media. Got connections? Or do you know how to get to the decision makers? Are you fearless? We need you. Internet radio, or as we call it, wireless mobile radio, is rapidly becoming the place to be with almost limitless income potential. So contact us to get involved with the fastest growing professionally produced group of internet radio stations in the world. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444. Or you can email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What? No! No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up. See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Everyone knows Strutmasters is the suspension experts for luxury vehicles, and now we offer motorcycle products. Introducing Easy Rider Complete Motorcycle Air Suspension, brought to you by Strutmasters.com. You can raise and lower your bike with the flip of a switch. Take those long rides with the ultimate comfort of Easy Rider air shocks. They're backed by Strutmasters, and you won't believe the low price. Check out Easy Rider Motorcycle Air Suspension at Strutmasters.com.
Hi, I'm NASCAR driver William Byron. You're listening to Motorsports Madness on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. Yes, Tom Baker says hi. I'm Jacob Seelman. Chris Murdoch is over punching buttons still and keeping us on the air, and we've traded a Tyler for a Ryan. Ryan Vargas joins us for the second half, and he's another. We'll call him our in our VIP category. It seems like he and Tyler are two that when we can get them, we always have a tremendous amount of fun. And
yeah, you guys just lucked out. We both decided to show up today. It's awesome.
Not only decided to show up, but with big news too.
Yes.
Congratulations! You are getting ready next weekend to make your first NASCAR Xfinity Series start with the guys on your shirt, JD Motorsports.
Yeah, you know, I've been really excited to get this going. You know, it was kind of like a extensive 5-month process of just getting all this stuff going. You know, and it's kind of like what Tyler was just speaking about earlier. You know, once I got the word about Rev, you know, I was just kind of thrown for a loop. You know, it was, what am I going to do? Am I going to race? Like that was the big question mark. And I was very fortunate to have Lombard Brothers jump aboard doing the late model program, and we were able to continue, and you know, it opened up a lot more opportunity to go and do stuff like this.
Talk about them just for a second, because obviously they were a very critical part of this year. So talk about them. So
Lombard Bros Gaming, they're a YouTube channel. They both also have their individual YouTube channels, and they also have a lot of great stuff that they do. And they're both really good guys. And I've known Joseph now for about 1.5 years. He's always been a really good guy. He's just a genuine fan of the sport, and he loves everything about it, and he loves being a part of it. And I always enjoy having him and his brother Zachary and anyone else who they bring. They've just brought Darian Gilliam from another NASCAR YouTuber. I might have butchered his last name, but they brought him out to Irwindale the past week. So they got to see some great racing and us competing for some wins.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they or haven't they been a part of Ryan Sieg's program a little bit too in the past couple years?
Yeah, they've primary sponsored Ryan Sieg's Xfinity car a handful of times as well.
So it's all in the name.
Yeah, something like that.
It's like Ryan.
They just like Ryan's.
Yeah, it's like Ryan's.
Oh, there's a lot to unpackage, actually, not just with Ryan's deal with JD Motorsports. He'll be driving the 15 car, right?
Yes.
Next weekend. He'll be in the 15 car for Johnny Davis next weekend. We'll unpack that. We got to unpack your racing because, in addition to this deal, you've been pretty busy so far this season and actually kind of locked in a championship fight right now, which is exciting. We'll unpack all of that with him, have a little bit of fun, and there's still some news even to talk about in the second half of this show. Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. Back in a moment.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
Is your job sucking the life out of you? Wake up! You can do something else. Information technology. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not a math and science person. No problem, and no excuses. Because it's not rocket science, it's My Computer Career. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. You can start your new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months. mycomputercareer.edu, that's mycomputercareer.edu.
The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Reed Sorensen. Racing has been a part of me and my family for as long as I can remember. I had to make tough choices early on to get to the top. It took hard work and dedication. But it's those tough choices that help me prepare for challenges I would face as a cup driver. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, I'm Todd Gilland, and you're listening to Race Talk on PMN, the Performance Motorsports Network.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch is punching buttons, and Ryan Vargas is now in the guest chair for the second half of our show. And we'll dig into your season in a minute, but we can talk about the big news a little bit more first. And you mentioned a minute ago that this has been a lengthy process to get to this point. So, without giving away too many huge details, talk a little bit about how you got to this point and kind of how the association with the folks at JD Motorsports came about.
Yeah, so I evaluated my schedule going into this year. It's been a really awesome year so far. I mean, like I said, back in January, I had 0 races on my schedule. Now we have over 30 late model races and now an Xfinity race, and who knows where that will go. But I really focused on, I want to be in a stock car this year. I want to be in a K&N or an ARCA or a truck or just something, just so I'm still in those race cars, because that's where your name needs to be. And so I just kind of evaluated where everything was, and I listened to a lot of my peers who are in the sport and those who, have kind of guided me along my process as well. And they've all told me, it's better to just go ahead and do that Xfinity start. And if there's nobody better to do it with than Johnny Davis.
Yep, I'll agree with that.
It's a very tough time, especially with all the question marks in the air with the K&N and ARCA combo. And I'm really excited to see how that goes next year. But right now, with all the question marks in the air, there's just, you want to make sure that you're in the right thing. And I know that the Xfinity Series is where, like the title, names are made.
I think what's interesting to me is once, like you said, you were thrown for a loop, at the beginning of the season. I think what struck me is how you kept your off-track presence. I think you, out of all of the younger drivers I know, I mean, there's a lot of them, I think you understand how important it is to stay relevant out there. And what is it like, after going through that, still pushing social media? How was that whole thing so important to you?
It's huge. I mean, and that's my biggest piece of advice to any young racer going up is social media is important. And I'm not saying be on your phone at the racetrack, because that's the one thing that I hate is when I see other kids on their phone at the racetrack.
Yeah.
You're there to focus on racing or driving a race car, but during the week when you're not doing anything, get some content out. Content. Post on your Instagram, post on your Twitter, post on your Facebook. Get some stuff rolling. Get people engaged. People aren't going to know who you are unless you're not posting. Jesse Awuji is a perfect example of that. You guys see some of the stuff he rolls out? It's fantastic.
I'll tell you what, he's done a great job too in the opportunities he's had with MEC.
And so it's been awesome. You know, I've really enjoyed going to the racetrack, and like you guys have seen me in the media center, you know, shaking hands with everybody I need to meet and handing out business cards to other team owners and stuff like that. Just keeping my name there so they could put a name with the face.
And I'm glad that you referenced that, because I was going to actually follow up to what Chris was saying with that exact point, that I don't know that I've ever seen a driver who has not had a ride be at the racetrack and be trying to make things happen as much as you were at the racetrack for the first half of this year trying to make things happen. And I feel like, and you just said it, that has been such a critical part of just getting this opportunity for you.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, it absolutely was huge. You know, being in, like I said, putting a name with the face. I go to the racetrack, and now there's people who are upper in the sport or upper with teams. You know, they see me and they're like, "Oh, hey Ryan, how are you? Like, good to see you. Good to see you again." It's like,
it's good.
Hello, owner of a team that I've watched growing up my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, this is awesome.
That's how you do it.
And it's really
you have to
neat.
work for it.
Exactly.
I think it's cool just to see, because, I mean, a lot of people who receive your news, it's very easy to get down and depressed and not really like it, but you kind of just pushed it aside and said you refused to you need to be out. You refused to be down and out, and I think that's the biggest thing I've seen from you this year is just your drive is amazing.
And that's just kind of the mentality. I always go back, you know, me and my dad, we're so alike, and that's why we butt heads so often. But at the same time, I've learned some of my best lessons from him. And, you know, throughout my racing career, I mean, we were always kind of like the one seen as the underdog, you know. We showed up with our street stock on an open trailer my opening night and finished fifth. We ran my late model out of our garage at one point back in 2017, the year prior to Rev. So, I mean, going throughout racing, you know, when I got the news about Rev, you know, of course there was a part of me that was sad. You know, anyone who gets that kind of news is going to be upset. You know, but at the same time, I was very thankful because I got a full year of racing with Rev Racing, a very prestigious team in the sport, a very progressive team in the sport. You know, they do a great thing with the NASCAR Driver Diversity program, and I'm very proud to have been a part of it. I'm proud to still, in a way, be a part of it. So it's really awesome to be a part of that, and then also just keep moving forward because, you know, that's what you got to do. You got to keep your head, you got to keep your nose down and keep grinding.
But now you've got an opportunity with a team in JD Motorsports that I think is a fantastic organization because they know that they're not Junior. They know that they're not Penske or Joe Gibbs or whoever, okay? They know who they are, and they try to be the best version of who they are at all times. And you know what you get with their equipment, and nobody treats his drivers better, will go out of his way more to do more than Johnny Davis. And I think that's great that you've got an opportunity with them because you're going to get the most you can get for, you know, what the situation is.
Yeah, when I had the first opportunity to really sit down with Johnny and talk with him and just get his mentality of racing, you know, it really struck a chord with me. You know, it really resonated in me because it was really, I related to it. You know, I 100% understood what he was saying. You know, his mentality of racing is honestly the way I've always gone through it. And, you know, I'm not trying to say, oh, I think like Johnny Davis, but I'm saying at the same time, you know, he's a very respectful person, and he understands the sport probably better than most people do. And it's really cool to hear the words of him.
So to circle back to keeping your name out there and keeping yourself in the forefront of people's minds, as you know, as much as you were upbeat and have been upbeat through this whole process, was it difficult at times to have to go to the racetrack knowing, you know, I'm going to the racetrack trying to make something happen. I don't have something at a race. As a racer, you know, going to the track and not having a ride?
100%. It's probably, I'm not going to lie, it's the hardest thing in the world. You know, I was at the K&N opener at New Smyrna, and I was there, you know, I was shaking hands and I was meeting team owners, and, you know, I was just doing my thing. But once the green flag dropped, I was in half business mode, but then half also just kind of realizing, like, damn, I want to be out there. And, I was taking notes. I was actually writing the trends of the race just so if I ever race there, I race there again in the K&N car, I'll be able to race there and understand a little bit better of the trends with the general tires they now run. But, at the same time, it was probably the hardest race ever to watch.
But at the same time, a humbling experience for you.
Yes.
Because to have what you had last year and then to see that this can all be over in an instant just makes you grow from that. That's a character building exercise is what that is.
Yep.
And look what you've been able to do with the help of a lot of very good people.
It's been incredible. I say it all the time, and it's probably repetitive at this point, but at the same time, I'm just so thankful. I mean, if you guys go look at the tweet and go look at the post and go look at the Facebook post, those are some of the highest engaged posts I've ever had, period. Like, even when I posted on NASCAR's social media, when NASCAR gave me their Twitter and I did stuff, it didn't even go that high. Like, I had Jeff Gluck, Bob Pockers, I'm on J-Ski, like, all these very influential people, and then, other racers reaching out to me as well. It hit me to home to see that they understand and they see all the hard work going into it.
You've made it.
When you're on J-Ski.
Yes. I saw my name on J-Ski, and I was like, oh, I got all excited. I was like, man, I used to watch. I used to look through J-Ski. I had to go through that. So the fan in me was a little giddy, but at the same time,
you should be.
It's awesome. It's just
great.
really, really awesome to see the response that everybody's been giving me, and I'm very thankful. And I've seen all the text, all the comments, and it's just it means the world.
Who reached out to you that you were most surprised of?
That I was most surprised of?
Yeah.
Oh, man. There's
a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't say most surprised, I would definitely there's no real single name. Like, there's a bunch of people. Like, I consider everybody that I've raced against, learning experiences. Like, we've all wrecked someone, and you've always been on the receiving end as well. And just about everybody that I've been in a wreck with messaged me. So, I mean, I guess that means I did something right.
I was going to say.
But it's, like I said, it just means the world to me that people see what's going on and they understand the reasoning and they understand my story. And I'm glad that I'm able to tell it to everybody.
There's more to that story that we are going to get to on the other side of a break. More with Ryan Vargas coming up as Motorsports Madness powered by My Computer Career rolls on.
Parents, your son or daughter has had their license for a while now, but you want to make sure they're prepared for any situation they may face on the road. High school driver's ed doesn't teach them to drive defensively. They need to be prepared for any highway emergency. For less than a month's insurance, and a whole lot less, BSR instructors at Summit Point Motorsports Park in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, will teach your son or daughter how to respond instantly and positively to unexpected situations on the road. BSR's specialized accident avoidance training teaches swerve to avoid maneuvers at highway speed, ocular driving, which focuses driving attention on ways to avoid accidents, vehicle dynamics and feedback, skid control and skid recovery, threshold braking on straights and progressive braking on curves, and off-road recovery techniques. This is stuff driver's ed simply doesn't teach. So call BSR today, 304-725-8444. Give your kid the skill set needed to drive safely and responsibly on the highway. That's 304-725-8444.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right, it's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety. HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. Featuring world-renowned brands like Schubert helmets, Schroep belts, Adidas suits and shoes, Olero fireproof underwear, Lifeline fire systems, and even Racecom radio kits, HMS has the right product for your type of racing and your budget. Their representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. With locations in Mooresville, North Carolina, and Danvers, Massachusetts, the staff at HMS is always ready to take the time and help you find the right product for your specific safety needs. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Just stop in to HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a message on Facebook. Tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
Hi, this is John Ondrasik of Five for Fighting, here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. You know, style is a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody's business. So please, plan ahead, designate before you celebrate. Friends, don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Cody Connor, and you're listening to Race Chaser Radio. Now back to the show.
Well, welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch, Ryan Vargas is our special guest for the second half of this show. And Tom, if you or me or Vargas, well, Vargas is a race car driver, so he probably wouldn't want to, but if one of us or somebody else that's listening wants to get involved in information technology, our friends at My Computer Career can help them do that.
You need it just so you can reboot yourself. That way we don't.
Yeah, hey, I'm okay here right now, thanks.
Yeah, well, there's still another segment left, so we'll see. Here's the deal. I mean, My Computer Career, first of all, if you're interested in a career change, there is no better career in terms of growth and expected growth going forward than IT. So My Computer Career is perfectly positioned because they can teach you everything you need to know to have a successful career in the IT field in as little as 4 months. It's pretty simple. You go to their website, mycomputercareer.edu, take the free career evaluation. If you, at that point, decide to pursue a career, you don't even have to do this full time. A few days a week, either online or at one of their 7 campuses is all it takes. You can be an IT professional as little as 4 months. Financial aid is available, including the GI Bill. And the good news is, at the end of your training, they will work with hundreds of employers to help you to find one of the open positions that currently exist. There's about 2 million of them in the cybersecurity field alone in the U.S. right now. So you have a great opportunity here for a changing career that could position you perfectly for the future. If you're not good at math or science, it's okay. It's not rocket science, folks. It's My Computer Career. Go to their website, mycomputercareer.edu, take the free career evaluation, and you could be on your way in as little as 4 months to a brand new career. And we're going to need at least one of you to do that because we got to have you here so we can reboot Jacob every week at least once during the show.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Going back
Trying
to
to help.
Going back to talking to Ryan Vargas now. Talk a little bit about your expectations, what you're excited about going into next weekend. Obviously, the good news for you is Iowa's a track that you've had experience in a stock car in before in the K&N car last year, so maybe not quite as big a learning curve as if you were being thrown to the wolves at some place you had never been before.
Yeah, we ran well in the K&N race there. We ran inside the top 3 and had a really competitive car and had a really competitive race. But, going into this weekend, well, not this weekend, next weekend, like we were just talking about earlier, Johnny Davis, he knows he's not a Dale Jr. or a Joe Gibbs or a Penske. He knows what we got, and I know what we got. And, for me, we talk about expectations. I don't like thinking about expectations. There's no need to think about expectations. It's a debut. Go out there, run laps, learn. That's all I need to do. Go out there, run laps, and learn.
Exactly.
And keep the fenders on the car.
Yes.
It's 250 laps. I got to keep the fenders on the car. And, it's going to be a long race. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the longest race I've ever done, but I'm very excited.
What does it do to you how does it kind of play in your mind that you're actually making your debut at a track that not only have you run before, but you were fast there, the Cannon car?
It adds a little bit of confidence, I guess you could say, and I know JD has some very good cars when they go there sometimes. I mean, I remember, I think it was just a year or two ago, Garrett and Ross finished inside the top 5 or like 4th and 6th or something like that.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. So, I mean, anything could happen, and especially in racing. I mean, anything could happen in racing, but anything could happen at Iowa, especially at a short track. So I'm really excited to see where we end up and see where we go because it's going to be a lot of fun. I love Iowa. I love, you'll practice all day on the bottom or something like that. So at least how it was in the K&N car. I watched the Xfinity practice this year, and they were all over the place. So going to be doing that. But you could run the very bottom and rip the yellow line, or you can run the fourth groove. I mean, it's all over the place.
So you come in not only on a high because you're jumping up to the national level for the first time, but you've had a really solid season, and you mentioned it, building nothing into about 30 late model races, or more than 30 late model races this year between both this coast and back home on the West Coast. Talk a little bit about your late model season on the whole. It's still in the mix somewhat in the points out at Irwindale Speedway, your home track, and you've had some good runs of late in Lee Falk's equipment here on the East Coast too.
Yeah, I was just talking with you guys about it on the break. This year has been a lot about just recouping myself as a driver and getting myself back into position, so that if I can get back into that position where I was last year, that I'm better than I was when I was there prior, because I need to go out and win races. And that's what my plan has been this year, and so far we've done it twice, and we've run very well with Lee Falk's equipment. And I know Lee Falk is, he's going to get on you when you're doing something wrong, and I've learned immensely a lot this year.
You do a great job.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. We went to Hickory a lot. It's been a blast. That place, for those who haven't been to Hickory, you need to go to Hickory. It's bad to the bone. And same thing with Irwindale. Irwindale, that's home turf. Going back there and getting the win on opening night, and then winning for my grandma earlier this year as well. It means a lot going out there and seeing all the support, not just from my family and friends out there, but my competitors out there. Every competitor I raced against at Irwindale messaged me. That's insane. When you're on the track, you race hard and you race each other, and sometimes you wreck each other. But at the end of the day, you're all battling for that same prize, and that's a win. And they all get that, and they're very respectful racers over there, and I'm very excited to go race out there, and I'm also very excited to go race at Hickory this weekend, just because I know that the racing is very close quarters, and like I said, I've learned a ton, and I'm excited to keep going back.
Speaking of learning, we've had another Ryan make his debut at Iowa in the JD car, and I want to really know, have you leaned on any of the JD drivers? Have you got to know them? Have you talked to them about sort of what to expect? Because obviously you've had some seat time in a stock car there before, but obviously this is a big step for you.
So I've leaned a little bit on Ryan, just kind of like what it was like for him doing his debut. You know what I mean? Like he went there with zero Iowa experience, but he also went there, with no experience in an Xfinity car. So I just kind of asked him general questions like, hey, what's it like? What's the process? How's this go? How's that go? But then I also leaned a little bit on Garrett Smithley, and then also earlier this year, back in March, I think it was, I talked to Ross. And it wasn't necessarily about just running Iowa, but it was just kind of a career. It was a career question, because this was kind of at the point where he was running with Nice, and there was the fallout that happened with the sponsorship at CGR, and he was going for the Xfinity Championship, and I just kind of talked to him, and he took a lot of time to talk to me, and that really resonated in me, and it meant a lot to get to talk to Ross and to hear his opinion and how he goes about it, and that was also one of the weighing forces in me going to Johnny.
Did Ryan tell you about the handles on the top of the truck, because he about fell out of the back of the truck during intros?
I didn't hear about that one.
That was a great story.
Yeah, by the way, for anybody who's confused or wondering, that's Ryan Repko is the other Ryan that's being discussed here. And yes, if you can keep the fenders on it like he did at Iowa a month ago and not almost fall out of the back of the driver intro truck, you'll already be better off.
Yeah, I mean, and like we were just talking about, he kept the fenders on it, and he
did
ran
a
a solid
job.
race, and he finished
22nd.
Yeah, 22nd. Yeah. That's honestly a pretty respectable finish, even for a veteran in the Xfinity Series who runs with JD. So I mean, that's just what the game is. Just run a respectful race, run hard, but also be smart. Yeah. And that's exactly what Ryan did, and he's kind of going to be one of the guys that I kind of lean on.
You actually, I feel like, have mentioned this on the show once or twice before when we've had you in, and I feel like it applies, in spades going into next weekend. But, this for you is going to be about gaining respect in the hopes that you get it back when you get to that position later on in your career.
Of course, and I'm going into this race, me having just one season of K&N, and there's a lot of people that are like, oh, wow, maybe he's not ready to do anything. Like, I get that. Like, I'm just running one season of K&N. I'm doing this Xfinity race because I feel, I feel confident in myself. I feel confident in the JD equipment, and I'm there to learn. That's what it is. And it's going to be a very big learning experience, but later on down the road when we go to, maybe in a year or two when I feel I'm ready to do something full-time in Xfinity, that's when I hope that this kind of stuff sticks
I feel
out.
like the game has changed a little bit now, though, because, there was a time when K&N, ARCA, truck to Xfinity that's how you did it. And now I see a lot more drivers that are skipping steps. And I'm not saying all that's good, but I am saying I understand it because K&N and ARCA are extremely expensive, and it's very hard to find sponsorship for those series. It's much easier for Xfinity, and that's why you're seeing more guys do it. So I wonder how much of that sort of plays in for you as well.
That 110% played into everything. I mean, this is just kind of one of the harsh truths of racing, but you could pay a high dollar and go run a K&N race for a real well-respected and developed team that can go out there.
Top-tier team.
A team that you're pretty much guaranteed to win with. You can go out there and pay more than what you would to do an Xfinity race.
Yeah.
110%. And it's, at the end of the day, if you go out there and say you get in that top ride and you run third in a K&N race, it's like, okay, cool. I mean,
we ran third.
Yeah, we ran third, and and not taking anything away from that, but at the same time, it's hard for me on a part-time basis who's trying to keep my name in the sport. And trying to get back into that position. I would much rather go out and run an Xfinity race and learn and run mid-pack than drop a ton of money.
We had Austin Terrio in here a week or two ago, and he was saying the exact same thing. That's why he's making his debut in the Cup Series with the
And he's more than deserving.
Weekend. Yeah.
And he's proven his worth. And when he goes out, he was fantastic in the truck. He was, he was a dominator in the ARCA car. He's going to go out to New Hampshire and he's going to probably run mid-pack. But he's going to learn so much, and he's going to be ready for, if someone comes knocking on the door telling him, hey, want to drive my Xfinity car? Hey, want to drive my truck? He's going to be ready for it. He's going to be even more ready than he ever has been.
Now, I hate taking a couple minutes out of our lightning round, but I do have one more thing that I want Ryan to touch on before we get into our lightning round. However, we do have to take that break coming up here in about 15 seconds, so we'll do that. And when we return, I'll get Ryan to talk about the people that are helping make his Xfinity debut possible next weekend, because it ties directly into your story. And then we'll have some rapid fire right here on Motorsports Madness. Don't go anywhere.
How to be a great dad in 15 seconds. Bike ride, go fish, walk in the park, phone call, milkshake, play catch, picnic, fly a kite, tell jokes, laugh, talk, read a story, tell a story, bumper car, swing set, bowling, pillow fight, cut loose, stay tight. Whew. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Automotive technicians and auto service trainees, how would you like to work at the beach and perform for one of the best car care centers in the nation? Lewis Meineke is now looking for skilled automotive technicians to join their award-winning team. If you're a gearhead that knows his or her stuff, or a young up-and-comer that has the motivation and drive to succeed, then you need to make this call today. 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center, located in beautiful Lewis, Delaware, offers a highly competitive compensation plan, great benefits, a flexible schedule, and did we mention that you're going to be working at the beach? Plus, there's a signing bonus for the right candidates. Technicians must be ASE certified and have a minimum of 6 years experience. Beginners advance at your own pace in one of several entry-level positions. But whatever you do, don't wait. These jobs will go fast. Call Tim at 302-827-2054. That's 302-827-2054. Lewis Meineke Car Care Center. Rev up your career.
You hear that? That's the sound of America's only sports car. That's right. It's a Corvette. But not just any Corvette. It's your Corvette. It's that who cares if there's traffic part of your day. And this can be you when you come to Cooper Corvettes. With 60 years of Corvettes to choose from, there's always a Corvette in your budget. And they'll service any Corvette you bring in. Cooper Corvettes on Route 1 just north of Quantico and Triangle. Call, click, or visit CooperCorvettes.com.
HMS Motorsport is the leader in motorsport safety HMS serves a majority of NASCAR, IndyCar, and IMSA WeatherTech teams, as well as countless SCCA and club-level racers and driving enthusiasts throughout North America. The representatives are experts on making your track driving as safe as possible. You have family and friends who care about you, so don't settle for second when it comes to motorsport safety. Stop into HMS Motorsport, visit them on their website at hmsmotorsport.com, or send them a Facebook message and tell them the folks from Race Chaser Media sent you.
How to deal with someone who says that's so gay. Outsmart them.
This party is like so gay. Totally.
Excuse me, but did you ladies know the word gay used to mean happy or excited? Then it became a word used to describe gay people. Then somehow it came to mean dumb or stupid, which is how you just used it, which is not very nice.
Ew, that guy is on the football team and super smart, and he totally hates us now. Totally.
When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off. Learn more at thinkbeforeyouspeak.com.
Hi, I'm Zane Smith, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to Motorsports Madness, powered by My Computer Career. Jacob Seelman, Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch, Ryan Vargas. This is our traditional lightning round segment. Before we do that, however, Ryan, I always tie in thank yous before we kind of wrap up the formal portion of your interview. But in this case, I want to specifically call to the table the sponsor that's helping you make your Xfinity Series debut, because it ties directly into your situation and what you've gone through to get to this point with your craniosynostosis. And yes, I practiced all week just to say that right.
Yeah, you
Jake.
still said it a little wrong. I'm kidding. No, but I'm really pumped to have Cranial Care Bears on the race car. You know, they're a fantastic organization. They're a little unknown right now because of just kind of how rare craniosynostosis is. I think it's 1 in every 2,000 to 3,000 kids have it. But for those who don't know, craniosynostosis is when, for me, it's like when your soft spot, when your baby have a soft spot, mine closed, and it's kind of the same thing for other kids. I was also
Soft spot
on my head.
Okay, I just want, because the listeners may not know. Yeah.
And I was very fortunate to have a not so severe version of craniosynostosis, corneal synostosis, where my right side of my head was a little bit messed up. But I've been able to have the opportunity to meet kids who have been way worse affected than I have, and some, you know, they're going to have lasting effects their whole life. But you know, so to have Cranial Care Bears on the car and be able to give them an opportunity to be on a race car and be seen on a national and now in today's age global network, you know, be able to see, hey, this is that's craniosynostosis, like that's why Ryan has that zigzag on his head, like, oh, okay, that's pretty crazy. And, you know, being able to be a role model for these kids and show them that anything's possible, no matter what. You know, craniosynostosis isn't something that should hold you back. You know, some kids see their scar and they see it as something that's going to hurt them, but it's not. And then I also have to say, of course, thank you to my family and everybody, and especially the Lombard family, you know, what they did with the late model program. You know, without them, this season wouldn't be happening.
And I think that's what's cool to me, too, is because when I first met you, and probably more like anybody, when they first see the zigzag on your head, they probably think it's just a hairstyle choice. But after learning your story and seeing how that plays into it's you. And I think that's what is so cool about you, is you accept it. And it's turned into a sort of a conversation starter. That way you can explain your story and just bring awareness to it. And it's so awesome to have that stage, and now a stage elevated like the Xfinity Series.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, you know, one thing I tell kids is, like, for me, I see my scar and I see it as the reason I'm here. You know, it's like,
it's what makes you unique.
If you know, I wasn't as fortunate to have, you know, this be recognized, you know, when I was 11 months old and have it gone and like till I was 2 or maybe even, you know, a little later, you know, I could have been in some serious trouble. And so, you know, it means a lot to have made it, you know, like I said, this far in life and in my career. And it's just, every day is a blessing, and I'm very glad to be able to go on this crazy journey and go drive race cars for a living.
We're glad to have you in the chair for a while tonight, and, you know, super excited for everything that's going to happen for you next week and hopefully down the road for the rest of the season. And as Tom said earlier, we're going to keep you in the chair for the lightning round, but get to a couple other topics here. The first one, and I haven't gotten to do this in a while, so the voice is back. Wait for it. Breaking news.
Uh-oh. Who did we break?
Well, Adam Stern broke Kyle Larson. More accurately, Adam Stern broke that Kyle Larson is going to return to Chip Ganassi Racing in the 42 car next year, despite many people speculating, including some speculation on this show at one time or another, that he could land elsewhere. Kurt Busch is also in negotiations to extend his stay in the 1 car after his win at Kentucky over the weekend.
Okay, well, so first of all, that's part of our job.
I
To
know.
speculate. So,
I'm just,
and we don't speculate just to speculate.
No.
There were actually a lot of, as you said, there were a lot of talk that he was looking around, and you never know how things are going to go. Not at all surprised that Kurt's going to return again, or is
negotiating
basically
to return.
going to return again. Wants to. Not really surprised that Larson's coming back, but that team needs some work.
It does.
It's
and
very clear there's a huge difference right now between the 1 and the 42.
I think it's interesting that Larson was asked by Jordan Bianchi a couple weeks ago, will you be with Ganassi next year, point blank? And he said, well, I'm under contract, so yeah, I'll be there. End of story.
Yeah.
So, and I want to ask the fan in Ryan Vargas, how cool was it for you watching the Cup finish Saturday night at Kentucky?
Well, I wasn't fortunate enough to be able to see it, but because I was racing
Highlights.
last night,
Right,
But I
highlights.
saw the highlights and I was going nuts, and I knew right away. My buddy Elijah Burke, who works at Ganassi now, he's the famous graduate video kid.
That's also why I asked you, because
yeah,
I knew you and Elijah were tight.
Yeah, Elijah
yes.
whosoever. He I instantly went to his Instagram and he posted a video of him going absolutely nuts, and I know he was going to go nuts because I was there for the All-Star with him as well. I watched it in Condo Corner, and he was basically throwing things with how excited he was.
That's awesome.
I think what's interesting, and on that note, because I was going to bring it up, then I forgot. Now I'm going to bring it up again because Jacob saying the fan and Ryan Vargas brought it up. I think the true essence of the fan and Ryan Vargas is your series NAS Vlogs,
yes.
which is just you being a fan.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
It's a lot of fun to do that. All my friends get really into it, and it's turning into its own little separate entity. It's I see a lot of drivers do their own vlog, or I see them do their own YouTube series, and it's it's cool. All right, good for you. You're doing content, like I said earlier, content. But at the same time, I don't want to see a video of you walking a line and signing other people's autographs. Like, that's not entertaining me. I mean, at least for most people. And if you ask other racers or other fans, they don't want to see a video of you talking about how good this food is, or how blah 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 this blah 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 blah.
So what do you want to see, and what do you do? Explain to our listeners.
I want to see is what makes a race day fun. What, as a fan, do you look for when you go to race day?
So that's your goal.
Exactly.
With yours.
Exactly. And I don't. And half my vlogs aren't even really centered around a race.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Talladega, and you just saw people going crazy on the infield and having fun. I ran into Haley Deegan. I was talking to Cup drivers, like getting there, like I caught Cody Ware dabbing on pit road. Like, I mean,
That's awesome.
that's a vlog moment. Like, and that's just a thing that you don't see in
Right.
general media.
Yes.
You don't
Right.
see Cody Ware post himself dabbing, but you have fun when you have that relaxed thing, like, hey man, blah blah, like, what's your game plan for the race? He's like, win. Perfect. Like, that's awesome. Like, get these like genuine people. Like, these racers nowadays, racers are trained to be so this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Well,
like that. I mean, at the same time, you have to be sometimes.
Well, there's a way to do that and still be able to.
Exactly. And I've had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun getting my racing friends and people in the sport in on it, and it's just been a lot of fun getting to show the side of racing that I don't think people get to see all the time.
Fair enough. All right. I have another rapid fire for the lightning round, by the way. IndyCar is going to Iowa this weekend.
Absolutely.
Are you taking Joseph Newgarden, Alex Rossi, or the field?
I'm taking Alex Rossi.
Okay.
I really feel strongly about Alex Rossi as we go down the stretch here. I've said it. I think I said it earlier on one of our shows that I think Alex is going to be a very strong finisher, and he's still going to find a way to win this championship. And I think it will start this weekend at Iowa. Though the guy that I would actually be looking out for at this point in the season, because he always seems to have this resurgence out of nowhere, is Graham Rahal. If you're just talking about somebody who because it's always this part of the year where Graham starts to show up. So let's see if it happens again this year. But out of those, I'm taking Rossi.
Christopher.
You know who I'm going with because it's kind of obvious. It's Newgarden.
Power. Oh.
I guess it wasn't that obvious.
Well, you're a willpower fan. I just thought that's where you were going.
So, I don't know. Do you have an opinion, Vargas?
I would definitely say Simon Pageant.
So he's taking the field. And you know what? I almost went.
No, he's taking Simon Pagenaud.
Yeah.
Like,
But
if Scott Dixon wins, he doesn't get to say, I told you. Because he was specific.
Okay, so he was specific. I'm taking in the field, but funnily enough, if you ask me to be specific, I'm taking the guy that you just said, Scott Dixon. Why? Because he has nothing to lose.
Well, that's true, but, again, I tend to believe what I see. And as much as it's easy to talk about Newgarden, Rossi to me is the guy all year who's been, he's the tenacious D of the IndyCar.
There's been a
set
fire
this
under
year.
Rossi
Yeah,
this year.
There has been, for sure.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, though, if you ask me to watch that team, I'm not watching Andretti Autosport and seeing Alex Rossi win at Iowa. I'm actually watching his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay as a possibility to win at Iowa because Hunter-Reay has done it 3 times before, and his record at Iowa, when he's not been in victory lane, he's been in the top 5 again and again and again and again and again. This track just suits him for whatever reason, and I'm keeping an eye on the DHL car on Saturday.
Interesting.
Because I just have a funny feeling that, and it's the, ARCA IndyCar double. K&N is next weekend with the Xfinity Series.
I love ARCA Night in America.
ARCA Night in America. Yes, that's going to be fun. Speaking of ARCA Night in America, is this still Michael Self's championship to lose?
I don't know. I don't feel like it so much anymore.
Ryan's shaking his head really quickly.
No.
You go.
Locked.
Locked?
Mm-hmm. Locked.
So
Locked.
you say Self's gonna.
You say he's got it locked.
He's got it down locked. He's got it down packed. I think so.
I'm not ready to go that far yet.
I've just seen, and it's not his, nothing for him, but I mean, I would have said that too. But he's had a couple of races where I don't think he's invincible anymore.
No, he's not. And if anybody's going to beat him, I say Christian Eckes.
Well, Eckes and I mean, but you've had other drivers that have stepped up too and run real strong over the last 2-3 races.
Brett Holmes has got to win if he's going to win this championship.
Well, okay, but all I'm saying is the fact that we have had some of these drivers is going to make it harder for Self to just run away with the thing. I mean, Eckes certainly is going to be strong, but all I'm saying is Michael Self was unbeatable for a little while, and now I don't necessarily think he is. Chad Bryant's teams have started to surface, and you've had, so I do think that, and by the way, let's throw a quick shout for Colby Howard making a start. For Wintron, I think it is this weekend. And,
this weekend.
Colby the Kid Howard is one of the drivers to watch of the up-and-coming group. I think he's got a chance to be very special in this sport if he just keeps getting the opportunities with good teams.
Yes, and I'm not. I don't have a rapid fire here, but I do want to pay a nod to our Formula One contingent on this show in this segment because today, actually, as this show airs live, marks 4 years to the day that we lost Jules Bianchi a couple years ago during the Japanese Grand Prix, and still a tough loss. I know. I saw Charles Leclerc's post earlier today, and Charles and Jules were always extremely close. So, that just one of those. And I feel like, I kind of felt like I was watching, what we all hoped Jules would be one day, seeing Charles in that battle with Verstappen during the British Grand Prix last weekend. That, to me, that was still one of the electric battles of this. I can't get over that 5 days later. Like, we never talk about Formula One 5 days after the fact.
What have I said? I've been saying for years F1 needs more youth, and look what's happening.
Yep.
Absolutely. No, that's been fun. And oddly enough, they're getting ready, I believe, to go into their summer break after Hockenheim next weekend. I guess it's a little longer than that. They've got two races. Sorry, they've got Hockenheim and then Hungary before they go on break. Usually it's the whole month of August. But
and for sports car fans, if you care, Chevy announces their 2020 Camaro or Corvette.
Ooh.
If you listen to us live, it's tonight at 10 10:30 Eastern, I believe.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm ready for
Corvette
that.
racing in IMSA is fun. We're going to take our final break, and we'll get Ryan to sign the wall when we come back.
Here's an important message from RAD and this station.
Hi, this is Bob Sheehan from Blues Traveler for RAD, recording artists against drunk driving. I like to party just as much as the next guy, maybe even more. But the one thing I won't do after I've had a few is get in the car and drive. Don't blow it. Always choose a designated driver. Remember, music lives, and so should you.
Motorsports sales professionals. Performance Motorsports is looking to build a team of experienced media sales professionals to represent our programming to the industry's top companies, magazines, and racing series. If you have motorsports sales or marketing experience, know how to work with agencies, understand social media, and are incredibly creative when it comes to working with clients and promotions, then we want to hear from you. Top performers are richly rewarded. Your imagination is the only limit here. Call 717-749-0444. That's 717-749-0444, or email us at scorpionradiogroup@gmail.com. You want to ask for Sue.
You are a waste. A loser. Everyone hates you. Why don't you just stay in your car and keep driving? I'm serious. Drive until you run out of gas, then get out of your car and walk until you find someone who doesn't think you're dumber than bricks. Could take a while, but at least all that walking might burn a couple of calories.
You may not witness bullying like this every day. Your kids do. They want to help, but they don't know how. Visit stopbullying.gov to learn safe, simple ways your child can help stop bullying. Be more than a bystander at stopbullying.gov. A message from the Ad Council.
You own a performance car and you know how to drive, but you want to learn real performance driving. Well, Bunky, get that car off the street and onto the track. Summit Point Motorsports Park, the Mid-Atlantic's premier road racing facility, located just over an hour from D.C. in nearby Summit Point, West Virginia, is the place to go. And you'll find that Friday at the Track is going to give you what you need. For less than a monthly car payment, you can attend this regularly scheduled one-day instructional event in your street car on one of Summit Point's 3 world-class road racing circuits. You'll receive classroom instruction, skid pad instruction in their cars, including front and rear skid control, and 4 20-minute in-your-car instructional sessions from a professional instructor. Have fun, go fast, and really learn how to drive. Call 304-725-8444 for class schedules and details. That's 304-725-8444. Friday at the Track at Summit Point Motorsports Park. The Performance Motorsports Network is a compilation of shows about motorsports. From technical to controversial to just fun, everything you like about racing and gearhead stuff is right here on one internet channel. The Performance Motorsports Network. Tell your friends about it.
Hi, I'm Tyler Reddick, and you're listening to Race Talk on the Performance Motorsports Network.
Hey, Ryan got to air drumming, and it got Tom air drumming. I'm impressed.
That song's infectious.
Yeah, actually, you did a good job for someone who doesn't play.
Oh, I did a little bit in middle school, but
you did?
Yeah, I was pretty novice though.
So we have about 90 seconds, long enough for you to gently put your headset down and sign the wall here.
All right,
So Ryan's going to find a good place.
Space on both sides. So A or B, he picks.
He's
B.
going to sign next between Reed Wilson and Max
the eyes
McLaughlin.
for the back of my head today. But between Reed and Max. Well, there's interesting company to keep, right?
And
Reed?
he put 15 for his Xfinity Series debut. I dig it.
Outstanding.
So I'll let him put the headset on just long enough to thank him for coming in for the second half of the show tonight. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate it, and certainly wish you the best of luck next weekend. I know how excited you are about it.
I'm absolutely pumped, and thank you guys for having me on and giving me the opportunity to share my story about this deal and my whole racing to everybody.
We got to do this more.
You really do.
I haven't co-hosted the show in a while. I'll be back. Let's
you
do
go.
it. Let's do
Okay.
Let's do it.
He's just invited himself, so we'll make that happen here.
Well, I think I invited him,
well,
but then
both.
Yeah.
Anyway, little of both. We got about 20 seconds, long enough to say thank you to our partners at mycomputercareer.edu, HMS Motorsport, and strutmasters.com for what they do to make everything that we do at Race Chaser Radio possible. So for Tom Baker, Chris Murdoch, and our special guests tonight, Tyler Ankrum, who was here earlier, and Ryan Vargas. I'm Jacob Seelman. Keep it off the wall, folks, and if you're headed to a racetrack, we might just see you there. Have a safe racing weekend until we meet again.
You've been listening to Motorsports Madness powered by mycomputercareer.edu. Training for a better life. You can be an IT professional in as little as 4 months. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation test today. Motorsports Madness, a Race Chaser media production. For more exciting and passionate motorsports content, follow Race Chaser Media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and visit racechasermedia.com. The opinions expressed by our guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, affiliates, or marketing partners of Race Chaser Media. No part of this show may be reproduced in any manner without the expressed written consent of Race Chaser Media. Thank you for listening.